Would you mind? Navigating conditional pitfalls in English. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our series on mastering conditionals in English. In today's video, we'll be addressing a very common mistake made by learners: the inappropriate use of would in conditional sentences. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of when and how to use would correctly. Let's start with a quick refresher on what would is and how it's typically used in conditional sentences. Would is a modal verb that we use in the hypothetical or unreal part of a sentence, also known as the result clause. It's often used in the second and third conditionals to express unreal or improbable conditions and their hypothetical results. For example, if I won the lottery, I would travel the world. Now, let's delve into the common mistakes. One mistake is using would in the if clause of the sentence. Remember, we don't use would in the if clause in standard English. For instance, saying, "If I would see him, I would say hi," is incorrect. Instead, you should say, "If I saw him, I would say hi." Another common mistake is using would in a first conditional sentence. First conditional sentences talk about real and possible situations in the future, and we typically use will, not would. So, instead of saying, "If it rains, I would stay at home," you should say, "If it rains, I will stay at home." So how can we avoid these common mistakes? Here are some tips. 1. Don't use would in the if clause. Keep the would in the result clause of second and third conditionals. 2. Use will, not would in first conditional sentences. Remember, will is for real, possible future situations, while would is for unreal, hypothetical situations. 3. Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice using conditionals, the more familiar you'll become with the correct structure and usage. And that wraps up our discussion on the inappropriate use of would in conditional sentences. Always remember, don't use would in the if clause, and use will, not would in first conditional sentences. With these tips and regular practice, you'll soon master the correct usage of would in English. Thanks for watching, and keep practicing.